suffocates, whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
All right, everybody, how you doing this Friday evening, the night after Thanksgiving? Hopefully, well, Thanksgiving in America, obviously, we have an international audience, so not everybody is from America. Hopefully, we can get a one. Let me get a one in the audience if we know we got sound, because I don't want to go too long on my monologue and have you go, "Oh my God, Da, you're not talking." So just give me a 1-1. And speaking of 1-1, our law enforcement advisor, he is sick as a dog. So we got a 1. Fantastic. I was really terrified for a while there. I didn't see a 1. So thank you so much. 1-1 is under the weather and not feeling well. So we won't have our legal law enforcement advisor from New York. Unfortunately, that poor guy is sicker than a dog right on Thanksgiving. What a horrible time for that crap. Hope that you and yours in America had a good holiday. We had a very low key, and I had a tooth removed from my face. So I'm recovering from that. I can't even drink alcohol. I can't do anything. And I wanted to have a drink with my buddies. Can't do that. So it's just going to be a low key evening. Not that I drink a lot. I really don't. That makes it sound like I drink a lot. I really don't actually drink a lot, despite what it sounds like. By the way, I thought it was funny in the chat tonight. There's been this long standing thing about whether Penny is going to be the first one in the show. And so Amanda B said hello like hours early. And then Penny had to say, you know what? I was actually here earlier, but I didn't log in. So I thought it was funny. They're like, they're vying for firsties. Fantastic. I love that so much. It's kind of funny. So Amanda B, welcome. By the way, I have been selling Amanda short. I keep saying Amanda is our graphics person, and yes, these beautiful graphics up here behind is a combination of Amanda and some AI and some tools and stuff like that comes up with amazing work, and we're redesigning our website and all that cool stuff. But Amanda does a lot more than that. She mods for me on YouTube. She manages the Discord channel and does a lot of organization there. So she's heavily involved in all kinds of stuff. And so I realize that I keep referring to her as just the graphics person, and that's so underselling what Amanda does. So thank you, Amanda, for everything. By the way, Robin, you pointed out I got a misspelling of your name on the outro video. I'll try to fix that today so that future outro videos actually spell your name correctly. That'd be fantastic. It'd be nice if we actually give credit to the people who help out in the proper way. So anyways, fun stuff. Reality coming in as well. Welcome to the show. By the way, I noticed as a teaser, like I'm going to be going on Dago's show tomorrow, I believe. Dago has invited me to come on and collaborate with him, come on to his show. And I noticed that reality goes a lot on Dago's show, it looks like, or at least it seemed like from me doing some pre-work and seeing who's there. It's kind of cool because when I go with Dago, I'm going to be bumping into people who I don't see very often at all. But it was funny. I noticed also Twiz was on there, and I met Twiz in person at one of the Koberger hearings. So that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, look, it's Twiz. Like, I don't even run in that circle. So it's going to be kind of cool. I feel like it's going to be a neat moment for me to bump elbows with some people that I really haven't, it's like, I don't know if the Idaho 4 group is kind of divided and there's some people over here in the whatever circle and over there. But anyways, whatever the case may be, looking forward to going with Dago and talking to him and having some time. I think he's got a cool vibe. Haven't spent any time with him before, so I'm looking forward to it. We haven't set the exact time. Otherwise, I would tell you when to tune in, but we tentatively said tomorrow. So hopefully that'll happen. Essie, welcome to the house as well. And who else we got? I already said hi to Penny. Becca 1019, hello everyone. Robin's in the house, she's backstage. Estes Crime Maze, Jason Estes backstage as well with his rib injury, giving it a good shot. So some of us are out because we're sick, and so others of us coming with battle scars, like me with the tooth and him with the rib injury and shit. I think Essie over there in Robin's neck of the woods still has an injury or something we're recovering from. So all the way around, we're banged up for the holidays. So there's that. Troubled Ocean from the East Coast in the United States, welcome in. And let's see what else we've got here in the show to see if we got some new names. Carol B 1101, hello. That's kind of a newer name, it seems like, for me. So I will, if you are new, by the way, please fire a question at us. We like to get new people's questions up there. Lex Green 8, that seems like a new one. Curious Cat, seen before. Thank you for coming. I love it. I love it when people come here again. Rhonda Farrell showing up with a different username. Sometimes she comes in here with a different username. So, or YouTube's just changing her username. By the way, I'm going to show off Rhonda as her modeling skills tonight. I'm going to show you something that she's done that I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, so what do we have on tap tonight? I'm going to bring up my guests. Jason Estes is sideways on my thing. I see his camera's in some kind of weird ass orientation. That'll be fun to bring him up on camera. See if he can get that. In fact, it looks like he's frozen. So all the way around, he's got a rib injury and he's got his shit not together. Let's see if we get him on screen while we get him with his pants down. And I'll get the mics turned on. You got it. I think you got it, Jason. How are you doing?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you, lovely faces. Yes.
It's good to see you.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you, lovely faces out there, especially. What's that?
I was saying I'm glad to see that you're suffering through your rib injury and you're doing okay. Looks like you've got.
Thank you. Yes, I have to suffer through it. And there's a delay, man. It's the intelligence community. What are they doing, man? Come on, play fair with us, or I'm going to have to replug later, man. Come on.
Yeah, I feel like I got
to heal this rib injury. Yep.
Yeah, the delay is killing us. I feel like this is one of those bad CNN things where they go to the reporter on the scene and they ask a question, and then like 20 minutes later, the person responds, "How you doing?" "Oh yeah, Bob, I'm doing really good." Yeah. So, anyways, yeah,
other than that, right. I love it. No one's got a sense of humor quite like DA. That's for damn sure. And this is only the beginning, folks.
So, Robin, how you doing, by the way? Do you have any injuries that I didn't know about and I'm downplaying, or do you also have banged up injuries?
Nope, I'm okay. For those who don't know, Essie is my fiance, and she had kind of like a toe reconstruction last Friday, but she's a trooper, and it's coming along really well. The doctor's happy with it, so that's a good thing. So, but other than that, no, I think we're okay.
Yeah, the toe injury is no good. I kicked something apparently, and one of my toenails has turned black. So I'm waiting to see if I'm going to lose my toenail.
Ow.
Like I hate that. Like I don't know what I kicked. I don't even remember kicking anything, but I'm pretty sure I did. I just don't remember what the hell I kicked. At this point, when you get a certain point in age, you injure yourself and you just move on, and you don't even remember where you got injured. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're like, well, whatever.
Jason, you had something. You raised your hand.
Yeah, just if there's a delay still going on, I'll unplug and plug back in and tell the CIA to leave me alone. No, they're cool, man. Do we still have a delay, or are we good?
We still have a big delay. So if you can reboot, that might be good.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug and try to come back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See you guys soon.
All right. One of the things that I'm going to tell you about tonight, by the way, I'm going to tease an opportunity for people because when we first got, I realized that we were a much smaller channel when I first decided to get some merchandise. And it was mostly because I wanted to wear something that represented my channel to CrimeCon. So I got some merchandise for myself and I thought, well, why not print a little extra? And there was a minimum order. And so I went ahead and I gambled on myself and said, okay, we're going to buy some merchandise. Now, unfortunately, we sold like about half of our quantity of stuff pretty quickly, and then all sales died. I'm not a salesperson. I don't like to pitch things all day long. So we have this merchandise sitting around, and I even last time I was on, I said, hey, look, 30% off. I'll knock it off. I'll practically give this shit away. In fact, tonight I decided I'm literally going to give something. Well, I'm going to raffle something. So what I want to do is I'm going to give away. No, I'm going to raffle a zipper hoodie large size. And I'm going to show you my wife modeling our merchandise so that you can see what it looks like. So here's the deal. Here's all you have to do. If you gift with a super chat or super sticker or whatever it's called, $5, then you'll get in the running. And if you're the only one who donated $5, you get a large zipper hoodie, which sells for like $60 normally on my site. I think I got it marked down to like 40 something bucks right now on the sale. And I'll just give it to you for $5 if you're the only person who puts $5, right? Rhonda's like 20%. No, Rhonda, I put it at 30%. I went all in on the whole thing. Let's see if Estes, and I'm going to show that in a moment, but let's see if Estes has got his audio delay done.
I can't hear you, so I'm going to unplug and then I'll be able to hear you, hopefully without a delay. One moment, my friends. I know, technical difficulty.
All right, while he's getting that sorted out, let me show you what the merchandise looks like with my cool little, by the way, when you see this cool merchandise splash that I'm going to put up on screen, no, the merchandise does not have see-through coloring that flashes and it has transparent shit and shows a logo through you and it makes you invisible. None of that shit's happening. That is a trick of the studio lighting. I didn't know was happening. It wasn't done on purpose. It looks badass on camera, but it's not entirely accurate, but it's very, very close. So let me mute my guests' microphones and let's put up on stage this video. No, not that video. We're going to rewind this. Okay. And we're going to remove, do I have to remove anything? I don't think so. At this point, I'm going to show you this. That's the ladies V-neck tee, of course, the zipper hoodie. And know that the logo doesn't show transparency and make you invisible.
Is it real or just a dream?
And this is the standard hoodie.
Can I tell you?
It's pretty slick looking
what
shit,
I've seen?
Really.
Pretty much at 4 a.m.
So there you go. My wife's starting her modeling career late in life, and that's fantastic. So hopefully we'll do something there. But anyways, the point being is that I wanted to show it because the way it works is I'm going to give away a zipper hoodie, large size. It's a unisex kind of thing. So it's the zipper hoodie, the middle one you saw. If you donate $5 in a super chat, super sticker, we will write your name down at the end of the night. We'll take all the names. And if it's one, you got it. Now, the only caveat is you got to give me an address to ship to. So if you're one of those people that are embarrassed or ashamed or don't want me hunting you down like a rabid dog, which I would never do, then find a PO box and I'll ship it to you. Whatever the case may be, give me $5 and I'll send it your way. But if there's more than one person that gives me $5, we'll do a roll off. We'll do a random, do it live. Anyways, so there you have it. Now let's make sure my people are
do it live.
We'll do it live.
Do it live. Fuck it.
Are you guys there?
We're here, and just to let you know, those hoodies, I have one of the zipper hoodies, both Essie and I do, and they are so warm and so comfortable, and they look so good. So you will be very, very happy with this. So
LiveScan gifted some memberships. Should that count? That's all. It almost costs enough for a membership to qualify. Like if LiveScan,
yeah.
I think LiveScan should be in the running for the. Yeah. Thank you so much for gifting a membership. And by the way, for those who don't know how that works, I say it whenever someone does a gifting or a membership, you need to have turned on the ability to receive gift memberships. I think you can only do it on a web browser. You have to go in the lower corner and click on the $sign. I think I keep turning it on and you turning it back off, Robin. I keep trying to put it up there to kind of highlight.
I got out of there. I'll let you do your thing.
Anyways, as long as you have it turned on to receive gift memberships, this person, LiveScan 2002, actually bought a membership for somebody. So they used their own money to buy you a membership, and then the system assigns it to somebody randomly in the room of the people who have the ability turned on to receive gift memberships. So make sure you do that in the future if you missed the opportunity. Hopefully somebody got that already. And if not, then we'll get it as well. So thank you for plugging that. It's good stuff. By the way, the hoodies are really good quality. I paid extra to make sure we didn't get cheap shit, which is why they're a little expensive. But hey, a good opportunity. All right, let's talk about sex, baby. No, let's not talk about that. Let's keep it a little, even though it is the After Dark show, let's not talk about anything inappropriate. So I'll remove that from screen and I will add, did I not already have this? Let's see. Stop screen share, add screen share. And we're going to do the entire screen and we're going to put that up on screen and there we be. All right, so it's my traditional welcome screen. I cover, so first of all, let's go through nightly lives, except for, of course, Thanksgiving was the wrinkle. Nightly lives at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, with the exception of Monday, which I go about an hour early because I go live every Monday with Bertie Bombshells on his show. We kind of call it Manic Mondays. We kind of do some crazy stuff over there. So I do go a little earlier on Monday. On Sundays, I typically personally take the night off. It's mostly, but my team runs the show at its regular time. We want to encourage call-ins and participation with the panel. If I can't make it, I'll try to even call in from time to time, even on my night off. I just don't want to have to work every single night. Well, I always work every single night, no matter if I'm on the show or not. But I want to take a night off where I'm not hosting the thing. By the way, for those who don't have the link, let me make sure you have the link in the chat to join us on stage tonight if you would like to talk about any of the cases that I'm going to show you on screen in just a moment. We're going to have call-in guests available tonight. Like I said, I'm going live with Dago tomorrow, I think. Oh, I misspelled tomorrow. Look at that shit. Somebody needs to spell check my ass. We're doing it live. And then, by the way, the premiere with the Custody Queens. So for those who don't know, I did a show with the Custody Queens. We premiered that just before Thanksgiving on Wednesday night, and I knew that a lot of people were going to miss it. The Custody Queens are going to premiere it on their channel. They're going to be there live for our guests to be able to interact with them while we watch the same video that you guys may have seen. If you didn't get a chance to see it, watch it on the Custody Queens live show on Sunday. I believe it's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It could be 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you find Custody Queens After Dark or Off the Clock. That's the name of their YouTube channel, Custody Queens Off the Clock. If you go there, you can see what the announcement time is for Sunday, and we will be both all of us live on Sunday to talk about that video. And then as the plan is I will maybe also premiere it on Monday for those people who were traveling on Wednesday and missed both of these, because a lot of people go out of town in the United States and missed them both. So we might, unless we're just overkilling that video, and then we don't need to premiere it like a third time. So that's the case. That's what we're planning on doing. Let's move on to my website overhaul. As you know, we're working heavily. I've been adding more and more details to the Bryan Kohberger case. By the way, it actually has changed. This slide should have changed because it doesn't say Bryan Kohberger anymore. It says Idaho 4. It doesn't say Rex Heuermann anymore. It says Lisk. So we decided to go with a little bit more common names. Idaho 4. We've got Charlie Kirk, Luigi Mangione, Lisk, and Mickey Steins. Those are our sites. This is what it looks like on our website, what a typical page does, the Idaho 4 interactive timeline. I've got a bunch of timeline stuff. I added more stuff to the timeline today. I'm always updating it. There's the merchandise shop on the website where there's 30% off. I know Rhonda's like, only 20% off. Like, 20% of nothing is nothing. We're not selling anything right now. So I'd rather move some product and get some people out there advertising the channel than to have it sit in a box. So there you go. You can get the free large zipper hoodie tonight if you donate a large super chat. And I hate begging, so I'm not going to beg all night long. It is what it is. I already got somebody in the running because I'm going to give that super chat or the membership. There you go. We got somebody in the running. Shadow Flame 172. Thank you so much. We'll get you on the list. We'll go through the list of people and make sure that you're on the list to get one. Maybe you just got yourself a $5 zipper hoodie, which is a fantastic deal from Brooksville, Florida. Nice. All right. So these are the cases I follow. Idaho 4, Charlie Kirk, Luigi Mangione, Long Island serial killer, which is Rex Heuermann's case, and Mickey Steins. I originally was going to name all the cases after the people's names. So hence it was Bryan Kohberger for the longest time. It was Tyler Robinson. And he realized that Charlie Kirk is a way bigger name than Tyler Robinson. And so people sometimes were confused. What are you talking about? I thought this was Charlie Kirk. Yes, Charlie Kirk is the person who was assassinated. So anyways, point being is I decided to go with the titles that are more likely to catch your attention, Idaho 4, instead of just Bryan Kohberger, because by the way, there's a possibility Bryan Kohberger didn't do it. So why call it Bryan Kohberger when we're not 100% sure that Bryan Kohberger did it? Why call it Tyler Robinson when we're not sure Tyler Robinson is actually the shooter? Luigi Mangione, same kind of thing. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Long Island serial killer, you may have your 100% firm convictions that Rex Heuermann killed all 7 people that he's being charged with murder on. However, I believe that there were 2 killers involved. I think that those bodies belong to multiple killers. I think Rex Heuermann is probably a serial killer, but I don't think he's the only serial killer. And I think that they're going to take the easy way out and try to wrap up some cold cases by blaming everything on Rex Heuermann because it's the easy way to close cases. And so I have to question whether or not if you close a case that isn't Rex's, are you letting the real killer walk and avoid that scrutiny where they should have been maybe looked into? So and then Mickey Steins, we don't talk a lot about Mickey Steins. Mickey Steins' case is going to pop off, in my opinion. That's the sheriff from Kentucky who shot a judge in his chambers. I've got a request for information into the coroner in that case to try to get some public information released. We'll see if that happens. So I'm working the case on the backside. Hopefully that something will break through in a while. So let's talk about Idaho 4 for a while. Tonight, what I like to do on my show is I like to talk about 3 of the 5 cases. That's my target. 3 of the 5 cases that I'm covering. So tonight it's more likely going to be Idaho 4. It's going to be Long Island serial killer, and it's going to be Charlie Kirk. And we might touch on Luigi. No, we will touch on Luigi Mangione. So actually, we're probably going to have 4. Luigi Mangione might bump one of the other ones because Luigi's thing is huge. What's happening in the Luigi case is huge. By the way, as a teaser to that, Ali Benevento, if you ever watched my show, she's a criminal defense attorney from South Carolina. She's been on Court TV many times. She's talked about the Kohberger case quite a bit. She's a big Luigi follower as far as following that case. And Ali Benevento and I have already lined up that we are going to talk to you guys about our opinions about the rulings on the suppression hearings coming up. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. All right, so far, before we get into Idaho 4, Robin, Jason, what are you guys feeling? You ready to tackle Idaho 4 for a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, for those, again, in the peanut gallery, one more time, I'm going to post the link.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Feel free to come up. Yeah. Are you on delay still, Jason?
Yes.
Are you on a major delay?
Unbelievable. I am so sorry. And to the audience, we have a delay. What is going on?
I don't know. It's so you may have to either take a little bit of a backseat, or you're going to have to raise your hand, and then I will let's wait 30 seconds for Jason Estes to catch up with the live stream. So maybe we'll do that. So in the meantime, let's move into Idaho 4. Now, I had a video that came out today. I don't know if you saw it. It's called Xana Was Killed First, but Not the Target. This was because as I was building that timeline, I'm talking about the interactive timeline on my website, I found an old TV news report from Fox Live, early stages, January of 2023, where a reporter was standing outside of the Latah County prison where Bryan Kohberger was in custody, and told us several facts that are no longer the official narrative. One, he said, here's what happened. We now know, according to official sources, Bryan Kohberger entered the house and killed Xana and Ethan first. Then he went upstairs and he killed Maddie and Kaylee. So now I find that interesting because right now, if you look at Dateline NBC's latest piece, that was the opposite. They said what happened was Kohberger went upstairs, he killed Kaylee and Maddie. Xana interrupted them in the middle of that murder, and he chased her back down the stairs and killed her afterwards. So this early report says that the order of death is Xana and Kaylee died first. And as the reporter speculated, Moscow police always said from the very beginning that this was a targeted attack. And therefore, this reporter concluded that because it was targeted and the killer didn't leave the house after killing Xana or Ethan, that must mean his real target was upstairs. So after killing those two people who interrupted him when he came in the house, he then continued on with his real target, which was upstairs. Now, there's an alternative option to that, which is that there were two targets, one on the second floor and one on the third floor. Or there's Jason Estes' target, which is no target actually existed because nobody died in that crime scene. We'll talk about that potentially if he has a huge delay and waves at us. But I thought what I'd do is I'd share with you possibly a little bit of that video clip. Let me get a poll in here on whether you want to see. It's like a 4-minute video clip of the news report talking about how Xana and Ethan were killed first. Do you want to see that, or is everybody here already seen it? So give me a 1 if you want to see it, and 2 if you've already seen it, and we can just go to the abbreviated thing. So let's see if we can get a little bit of audience participation going. Give me a 1 if you want to see the video clip where the reporter says Ethan and Xana died first, and then the killer went upstairs. All right, we got a 1. That's a good start. We got a 2. Somebody's already seen it, doesn't need to see it again. Got a 1. All right, let's see if we got a few more.
Well, it looks like people want to see it.
1, another 1. So far, they're outweighing. There's a 2. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people have seen it. Some people have. Some people want to see it again. Tell Murphy to stop barking. Yes, every dog that barks, we're going to isolate that video or that audio and say, here you hear Murphy barking in the background, because every dog that barks is Murphy. That's one of my bitches. So we're about 50-50 on this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split the difference with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share portions. How's that? I won't share the whole thing. I'll share portions of the video. That way, people who don't want to see it all don't have to see it all again. And people who want to see some of it can see some of it. So let's do share the screen. Let's go Idaho 4 murders, and let's go share with sound. Let's put it to stage. All right. Now, what I think what we can do is we can fast forward to right about here. All right. So here's where you're going to have a reporter in a newsroom asking the reporter on the scene at Latah County Jail, where Bryan Kohberger is right behind him. By the way, this reporter doesn't know the name of Xana. He thinks her name is Zanny, and he says it multiple times. Zanny was killed first. So take that for what it's worth. But here's some bombshells he's going to say. 1, he's going to tell you that official sources tell him Xana and Ethan died first, and then the killer went upstairs. He's going to tell you that when the killer came back down from upstairs, he said words to Dylan. He spoke to Dylan before leaving the house. That's interesting stuff. So Just keep those things in mind, and his speculations about how he believes Moscow PD knows who did the killing and they know why, but they're holding it to the vest and they won't tell anybody yet. But he suspects they will eventually tell us why, because they know who was the target. That's what he says. Moscow Police Department knows who the target is, but they're just not telling us. Hopefully soon they will tell us. All right, let's watch some of this.
My pleasure.
So a lot of information revealed.
By the way, do you have sound? Did you hear the sound of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In that affidavit, tell me exactly what stood out to you.
You know, that affidavit was riveting, it was shocking, and it contained a great deal of information. And I can tell you that we received, since that affidavit, additional information. And here's what we know. That is on November the 13th, that Brian Kohlberger, a PhD student at the University of Washington, entered the home where the 4 students were sleeping through a back entrance. As he got in the home, he encountered 2 of the students, Ethan and Zanny, and he wound up killing those 2 students. He then went up the stairs where Maddie and Kelly were sleeping together, and he wound up killing those 2 students.
So again, again, just consider how the narrative continually shifts in this case. This isn't a reporter saying, my best guess of what happened was. He says, look, we've seen the affidavit and we have additional sources that tell us what happened is the killer came in and was interrupted by, and he encountered Ethan and Xana and killed both of them first. Then he went up the stairs and killed Kaylee and Maddie, which is interesting because, again, the latest Dateline piece stated, and mainstream media has repeatedly said, the real target of the house was Maddie, and that Kohlberger must have been obsessed with her beauty and he couldn't have her because he's an incel and he can't get laid. So therefore, he felt compelled to come to the house and slaughter 4 out of 6 people in a house because that's the only thing that makes sense. That was mainstream media's thing. By the way, Live Scam, thanks again for donating gift memberships to people. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope people are getting to get advantage of that. So maybe it's a small thing, but my question is, was any reporter told by Moscow Police Department that that's what happened? He claims. The affidavit, which many of us saw, doesn't state the order of the killings, but he says, the affidavit, along with things that we've been told, says, here's what happened. The killer killed Ethan and Xana first, then went upstairs. Let's see if I can skip forward a little bit to get a bit more of his commentary.
Dressed in dog clothing with a semi-mask over his face. You could see his eyebrows were burly. He said something to her, and then he left out that back door in which he came.
So there he's talking about Dylan. After killing the 2 people upstairs, he says Brian Kohlberger came down the stairs. Dylan encountered him. He said something to Dylan and then left. This is not, I think, what the mainstream media has been telling you for years. They said that basically he passed by her and maybe didn't see her. That's the only explanation for why she's still alive, is he must not have seen her. Here, this reporter says he said something to Dylan on the way out. So that, I feel, is slightly different. And there was another piece that I wanted to highlight, and what was it? Maybe it's in here.
Moscow in general.
Oh, here they're talking about.
Does it sound like maybe he was?
Here we go. So we're gonna talk about the cell phone pinging off the tower that services the residents at 1122 King Road residents 12 times, and how this reporter believes that's proof that he was stalking the girls. He was laser focused on that house. That's why his cell phone pings off of the cell tower that services the house at 1122 King Road residents. Let's listen to that garbage again.
The one thing that you mentioned, of course, was the cell phone that did ping in that area about 12 times. What does that indicate? Does it sound like maybe he was stalking one or all of these victims, or just that he was in Moscow in general?
No, it sounds like he was laser focused on the house with these 4 victims. It could be considered tantamount to stalking.
So I'm just going to stop for a moment because I want to reiterate something that I said on my video this morning. How many people in Moscow, Idaho, ping off the cell tower that services the house at 112 King Road residence? And if that is evidence of stalking, then how many people have been stalking those girls? I would say the entire town has been stalking those girls, because anybody who lives in Moscow, Idaho has pinged off the cell tower that services the house at 112 King Road resident over and over and over again. So according to this reporter, the fact that his cell phone pinged off that tower is evidence that he was stalking the girls and laser focused on the house. I would like to compare other cell phones and see how many times their next door neighbor has pinged off of the house, the cell tower that services 1122 King Road, or hell, Main Street, Moscow. How many times that is pinged off the cell tower that services the house at 1122 King Road residence? Do you not understand that this entire thing has been narrative shaping for the first place? There's nothing about pinging off the cell tower that services the house at 1122 King Road residence that suggests he was there. And in fact, prosecution told you there's no evidence he was stalking the girls whatsoever. Granted, it's early narrative shaping, but it was disturbing nonetheless. I think there was one more thing I didn't like in here, but let's see.
Floor, either Madison or Kelly. What? That's
Okay.
one of the girls. They
Talking
were
about
the targets he would have then left. But
So here he's going to speculate on Xana or Ethan, who were killed first, must not have been the target, because if that were the target, he would have left the house after he killed his target. Therefore, his target was upstairs, and the killing down below was just kind of an accidental, oops, no, never mind, it wasn't his real target. And again, there's a scenario in which both Xana and Maddie could have been the target, or there's a scenario in which I tend to lean towards as Kaylee was the target. But the point being is that listen to him explain why the target must have been upstairs.
my belief that once Brian Kohlberger entered on that second floor, and once he killed Zanny and Ethan, if they were the targets, he would have then left. But he didn't leave. He went up to the third floor. So it's more likely than not that one of the girls on the third floor, either Madison or Kelly, was in fact Brian Kohlberger's target.
So again, this leads us back. This is enough for that video for now. Like I said, we had half the people that were like, hey, I already saw the video, don't need to see it again. But this is what goes back to that. Did somebody tell Steve Gonzalez that the target was Xana and that the killer came in and killed Xana? And does that lead to Steve Gonzalez's comments? He didn't have to go up the stairs. He killed who he wanted on the second floor. He didn't have to go up the stairs. Why did he go up the stairs? Was it just a thrill kill? Was it just an extra thing? Like, hey, while I'm here, I might as well kill more people. I mean, everyone wants to know really what was behind Steve Gonzalez's comments. He didn't have to go up the stairs. What do you guys think? There's two things that I want to get your opinions on. The early reporter saying, we have been told the killer killed Ethan and Xana first and then went upstairs. What do you think about that? And what do you think about the idea that that might have meant that they were the target and the girls upstairs were just an afterthought, or there were two targets, or Jason Estes, hold your nobody actually died in the thing for later. Give me your thoughts on that. You want to go, Robin, first?
Sure. What I think is that it makes much more sense to take them out 2 by 2, but especially Ethan. He's your most dangerous of the four. First of all, he's a big athletic guy. He's used to playing fast moving sports, so he's got good reflex, action, good timing. He's younger than, allegedly, if you're going to say it's Brian or anybody, he's younger. So his response time is better. So out of all of them, he would be the one that you would want to neutralize first. So it makes more sense to me. I do believe that there were more than just one target, so to speak, in the house. I think the plan was for all four of them, but this was not a random thing. I do believe that there had been a plan in place, and it definitely would require more than one person. So that's my thought process on that.
And I know Joe came in late, by the way. Welcome, Joe, from the State of the Deep
Hey,
to
Joe.
the show. We were just showing a clip. I don't know if you saw my morning presentation. I had a video this morning. I resurfaced an old video from a reporter saying that they were told that Brian Koberger killed Ethan and Xana first and then went up the stairs to kill the girls second on the 3rd floor. Did you see that, or have you?
Yeah, I did. I did see that video.
So I'm holding Estes last for 2 reasons. Jason Estes has a big delay going on tonight, so he's really behind. So I want to give him it last. And also because Estes tends to favor the extraction removal operation that may not have happened, I want to save his comment for last. Do you have any thoughts? I mean, I know putting on the spot, but do you have any thoughts on that whole narrative that came out early?
Well, refresh my memory about initially. I recall, and I'm not 100% sure I'm getting this right, that, you know, as per Steve Gonzalez, Xana, they went upstairs first. That was the original narrative, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I mean, I should say the original narrative never really said. They said, I think MPD said it was a targeted attack from the very beginning, but they didn't specify who the target was. So that's part of the problem. Is this was an early narrative that told us that the first people killed were Xana, Ethan, but maybe the target was Kaylee. I think they believed it was Kaylee all along, but that's my
so
guess.
you know, the thing is, it's like if you go back to just the basics of the case in the beginning, right? Allegedly, the killer came in through the sliding glass door, which was on the 2nd floor. And if it was a targeted attack and it wasn't random, then they would have known who was in the different bedrooms, because, right, they're not going to just wander into a house where there's cars parked outside unless they know where people are situated in the house. Unless they were watching, you know, through the windows, and they had been watching the property for a while, which that goes against the Koberger narrative of when he came into the area and then left the King Road area. So I don't, well, you guys know, I don't believe the official narrative. You know, I tend to think if in fact this was what we've been told that it was, that 4 people were brutally murdered, I tend to believe that the killer went upstairs first, and it was either Maddie or Kaylee that was the initial target. And I tend to lean, towards one of those two, and that Xana or Ethan heard something upstairs, and then they kind of started going up the stairs to see what was going on. And then that's kind of, I know there's been a lot of different narratives about Kaylee running downstairs and things like that, but this is all based on the official narrative, which is not what I believe. So it's hard for me to have a really good theory about the Koberger narrative, or because I don't think it was just one person, whether it was an extraction or not. It wasn't just one person that was there. So yeah, I don't think any of us believe that it was one person just by themselves that carried that out in, you know, a very short amount of time.
And before, sorry, if you have something else, I'm going to go to Jason real soon, but I wanted to caveat something. So I want to make sure you're done with your point before
I mean, essentially, we've gotten so many different narratives that I'm not locked into who I believe was killed first at this point in time, because so many conflicting things have come out.
So before Estes gives his opinion, I want to cover the drug angle from my perspective and the narrative that, okay, so this reporter suggested this reporter is putting 2 things together. They always said, Moscow Police Department said from the very beginning, it was a targeted an isolated attack, meaning it wasn't some guy going in and randomly attacking a house on campus. They came there for a reason to kill a very specific person. That's what they're implying. They wanted to make people feel very comfortable that, look, don't worry, you don't have a mass murderer on the campus who's going around killing random people. He came there to kill somebody specific. And that's what the reporter is saying. If that specific person was Xana or Ethan, who were killed first, he would have left because his target's been killed. So there's no reason to go upstairs. Therefore, he has concluded that the target, the real target of the isolated attack, was upstairs. You're following the logic so far. Now, here's the drug angle before I turn it over to Estes, because I'm sure he's going to touch on it. I just want to give you a primer for those who aren't super familiar. Most people are, but I'm just going to do it again. There is argument to be made that Xana's one of Xana's parents and one of Maddie's parents testified in drug cases for a lesser sentence for themselves by turning in fish that were higher up the totem pole. And therefore, they got leniency by ratting somebody higher up the food chain. There has been rumors for a long time that the girls were killed, the daughters of these family members were killed to send a message about ratting on the people higher up the food chain. So if that's the case, you must understand in that scenario, Xana Kernodle is one of the targets that they're saying would be the drug target, and Maddie upstairs would be the other. So while the reporter will say, well, if the target was Xana, then he would have left and not gone upstairs. So therefore, the target must be upstairs. The other option is both Xana and Maddie were the targets. And Ethan got killed because he was with Xana, and Kaylee got killed because she was with Maddie. So that would be the argument there. Now, I've done a job. Jason Estes may be on a delay. So I would expect a momentary pause as he catches up, and we'll let him give his summation about what he thinks about this narrative that came out that Xana and Ethan were killed first and then the girls upstairs. Is it an extraction removal operation? Does it have evidence of that? So go ahead, Jason, when you catch up with the audio.
Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh. This is so fucking convoluted. Xana and Ethan being killed first. And if anybody can make sense of it, Robin did a great job, I think, saying things like, of course, Ethan being athletic. If you're an assailant, you're going to go after somebody like Ethan first, right? That would make sense. But in terms of Steve G's comment, I think you guys can guess what I'm about to say. I think the FBI, in my opinion, told Steve G, again, as part of that highly charged emotional narrative of this case, they had to go upstairs. Or no, he didn't have to go upstairs. So it was a target attack. It's all staged. It's all part of the psyop. And yes, there was an extraction. And when 1-1 comes back, when he's healthy, God forbid, I want to ask each and every one of you a question. It's only going to require a yes or no on the Idaho 4. I think it's going to provide more entertainment. It's going to be titillating, tantalizing. But now it's my turn to be quiet, to shut up, and let you say your piece, my amazing guests and co-producer, Robin, and of course the host, the one another, Devil's Advocates.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and I appreciate your thoughts. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what question you're going to put us on the spot and force us. I always get nervous when someone says, all I want is a yes or no answer, because sometimes, actually most of the time, I cannot give you a yes or no answer without a caveat, because I know it's a trick. It's a trap. It's like, did this happen or not? Well, fuck. Almost everything is a gray, slippery, sliding slope for me. So I have a hard, but I will do my best when you get to it to give you a yes, no answer on that as best as that I can. Now
it's going to be fun.
I want to potentially show you something else. This is a little early for this, but let me remove this from stage.
By the way, I saw your video, DA, on Xana and Ethan getting killed first, and it was excellent. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's pause this. What I want to do is I want to show you something that has bothered me since I saw some new footage. And I'm doing it live. So I've never talked about this particularly. All right. this is my daytime footage from Moscow, Idaho, with my wife. Now, Joe and I did this at night. We also got the nighttime. In fact, I think Joe and I got I know we did daytime footage as well. But Rhonda and I went back and got a little bit more clear walking around the neighborhood daytime footage. And why is Joe not on? Oh, he is on stage. We just got him buried behind comments. Look at that. He's way down there in the corner. Hey, Joe. Anyways, so what I want to point, nice to see you. So off to the right-hand side, you see 1112 King Road Residence. Right in the foreground of that is where 1122 King Road Residence used to be, and it's been torn down. Now, next to that is this blue lower house. I believe the address, my wife and I disagree on the address, is 1118 King Road Residence. You see the green house behind it that is famously seen all the time from 1112 King Road Residence. When you see the white Elantra arriving into the neighborhood, leaving the neighborhood, you see that greenhouse famously in a lot of shots. Now, I just want you to focus on this house, the blue house that I think is 1118. By the way, as an oddity, search Google for Hindu temple in Moscow, Idaho, and it points to this house. They list this as a Hindu temple called the Arj Temple. There is no such thing as the Arj Temple. It actually lists the 1122 King Road residence as the temple's address, which is also weird. And this house here has the sticker on it saying it's a Hindu temple. I did some research trying to find out there is no Hindu temple there. They believe that a Redditor or a YouTuber, not even a YouTuber. Somebody just basically went into Google and pinned it and put their own thing. It allows people to do their own stuff. So somebody pinned it and thought it would be a joke or whatever. It's led to people making all kinds of speculation. It was some kind of ritual, a Hindu ritual, and Shiva, the goddess of death, or some shit like that. And it might be just somebody pinned it in there because there's no Hindu temple there. But I thought it was interesting. Just go Google it and say Hindu temple in Moscow. I point right to 1122 King Road Residence as a Hindu temple. But what I want to focus on as we move down this neighborhood and we go, okay, here we're going towards right. So here we're down on the street level. Immediately to my left is 1122 King Road Residence. Right in the picture, that gray house is 1112 King Road Residence, and then there's the famous green house. Now
Here's where most of the kids sat on the
little bit
stuff, and
go past this memorial. We're gonna walk down the street.
They got a lot of shoes hanging.
So here you see we're turning on to, right? We're going to turn on to King.
Leaves the
so
area.
Here's that greenhouse.
They got a lot of shoes
turning on to
hanging
King
on
right there. So stop. This is the part that I think I just saw. Phoenix Talks had a video with a police officer right about here on the street in front of this house to the right, or the house in the corner. And I thought she said they were interviewing Jack DeCour. I have not been able to confirm that this was Jack DeCour's house. So I would like to know if people know if this is Jack DeCour, if either one of these residences right here is Jack DeCour's house. But the biggest shocker that I want to point out is still to come. And again, I'm asking questions. I don't know that these things are true. I'm asking questions. When I was there, I was like, man, I know Jack supposedly lived over in this general area, but I didn't know if he was in one of these houses. Now, here's where it starts to get really weird. I'm going to play the video. We're going to go past this blue truck, and we're going to take a turn to look into the 1122 King Road residence from this house.
I think that house to the right here to the right, was Jack DeCour's house, the two-story one.
Right.
That's what I think too.
Straight ahead.
Yeah, that's what I
Where
thought
that
too.
truck is parked.
Or the one right beside it. I'm not sure which one.
So again,
right straight ahead.
All right. Now we have turned. We're looking at the Queen Apartments. The brick ones are way back there in the distance. That's the Queen Apartments. Right in front of that was where the 1122 King Road residence used to be. Then you've got this low building here. And this walkway was shown on video covered in snow with footprints coming from it. And they were investigating the footprints. Now, we've all heard about the footprints leaving the back of the house. And I thought the footprints went up to the upper parking lot. But if they came this way towards Jack's house, or from Jack's house to the 112 King Road residence, and that's where the footsteps were, I have new questions, especially since here's the other part that I'm learning as we look into it. It seems to me, and I can't find the footage, that when Dylan called Emily Alant, her friend, and said, "I'm scared. Can you come over?" Hunter Johnson had stayed the night with her. They were nearby. Many sources hide where Emily and Hunter Johnson came from. They just say a residence nearby. I've been told it is this very residence. It's that blue house. That's where they lived. And in fact, we went on a public record search and found out that that house, that very blue house that we pointed out earlier, is an address where Emily Allant lived. Apparently, they also said on camera that they were at the Whites, which is a different apartment and a different address. So follow the logic. I'm asking questions who know this better than I do. Were they investigating the footsteps that went right past the house where Emily and Hunter Johnson were at? Is it true that the roommate said that Hunter and Emily disappeared around 3 o'clock in the morning and didn't come back till 5 o'clock in the morning? Was the footprints through there, and does it lead right to Jack DeCour's house? I'm just asking questions. I don't know if any of those things are true, but I want to ask my panelists if you guys have any information in all the videos that you've been watching for 3 years that can put any light on how likely is it Jack DeCour's house is right behind me? How likely is it that Emily and Hunter were in that blue house right there? And how likely is it that the footprints that they were looking at were the ones that came right through this pathway?
Well, the one thing that comes to mind, and it is the people that were running in the body cam footage. They were running down King Road behind the cops. You remember that when they were interviewing those kids over by the fire hydrant on the street after they came from the band field. In the background, you see, I don't know, 3 or 4 people running towards Sigma Chi. Well, that was that street that you were just on, you know, where you were just filming. So conceivably, if somebody ran down that little side alley there and then made a quick right onto King Road and just made a sprint for it, that's
right where they go, right into the band field.
Running. Right. And the thing that always baffled me is why that was never talked about much by the media. It was a little bit, but it was dismissed really quickly. Did they find out who those people were? Where are the interviews with those people that were running from the house? You know, it just was always strange to me. That's a pretty suspicious thing, because why are they running? Why are they running away? Is it just because they were underage kids and they were drinking? I mean, maybe that's possible. They saw the cops down there with those kids and started running. But why was there no follow-up about who they were and why they were running? You know, it's just very strange to me.
Yeah. What do you think, Robin and Jason? Do you guys have any thoughts about the location of DeCour's house, whether Hunter was in that house, Emily was in that house, like the footprints? Do you guys have any thoughts on those?
Well, like I said the other night, that whole area there, everyone lives so close. I do believe that Jack, you know, he's right there, and then you've got Hunter and Emily right there, and there's so many ways in and out of that place. I call it like a rabbit's warren or a rabbit's den with you know, because they always have, you know, escape routes, and it's just the way that place is laid out. You can get and you know, one thing as you're talking here, DA, that keeps popping into my mind is Hitler's whole thing about, well, the killer had to come in a car. What?
Right. Yeah. He literally said, you can't pose these alternative suspects because we know the killer arrived in a car. I'm like, that is the most asinine logic I've ever seen in my life. We know the killer arrived in a car, so therefore it can't be anybody who lives in the neighborhood that was involved in it.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason?
I think, DA, I'm just going to have to rat you out due to the Jack DeCour man and say that you're saying there could be footsteps to his house, and then I'll get his attention and we'll get him interviewed, perhaps on your amazing show.
Never go after any of those people and say I sent them, because I don't do that. Let's be clear about that. By the way, there's something that still bothers me. There's still something that bothers me about the Jack DeCour thing. Just riffing off the top of my head, and I know it's not a popular thing. It bothers me to this day, and I realize he was not a suspect, which also bothers me to this day, because the first person you look at is the jealous ex-boyfriend. That should be suspect number one. But why? Has it ever been explained why Jack DeCour spends the entire time in the back of a squad car voluntarily while all the other kids are standing, freezing, having to get blankets under their feet. And Jack DeCour is just chilling in the back of a squad car the entire time. Why is everyone else out on the street and Jack's by himself in the squad car? Have you ever really asked why?
That's interesting. No, I never asked why.
I wanted to throw something out there about Jack DeCour, because I always tend to think about psychology when I look at any of these types of things. He's clearly, we know now, he was devastated by the breakup, and he was having like emotional turmoil, and he was having issues. He probably knows that Kaylee's dating people, right? That's a small area. Everybody else seemed to know that she was dating.
Yep.
No, he wouldn't know. He goes to sleep at night and doesn't hear 911 or from phone calls from Kaylee late at night. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Right.
I mean, it's not inconceivable that he was spying on her. Because it's after the bars. He creeps down the side alleyway. He wants to see who's coming and going from the house because he's a jealous, ex-boyfriend. He's distraught. He lives right there. It's not crazy to think that he was like scooted over there to try to see like who's coming or going from the house,
Well, again, and the people who are suspicious of Jack DeCour say, isn't it convenient? Again, I'm not saying this. I'm saying I've heard people say, isn't it convenient that Jack DeCour is in a squad car listening to everything that's going across the police radio? Like it was a great place for him to be listening to exactly what they do know and what they're radioing in across the radio, because he's in the squad car listening to the traffic the entire time that they're searching the house. So some people thought, well, isn't that interesting? If you were a suspicious mind, that would be a great place for somebody to want to know. But again, I just fundamentally.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, DA.
No, I've always wondered why everybody else was out. And again, for the people who say, well, Jack was distraught, so he was just wanting to be alone. They show Jack several times. He's not crying. When they show him on camera in the back of the squad car, it's not like he's breaking down and losing his shit in the back of the car. For those people who think he just needs a minute away from everybody else, that's not his demeanor. But that's just me. But
can I just say something? I want to address something that's happening in the chat. We value differences of opinions here, respectful difference of opinions. We don't like name calling, especially when it looks like someone is making fun of someone's disability. So I would really like to respectfully ask that we don't do that. So if you cannot refrain from that, we do have a system that you would receive a 5-minute timeout. If after that you still cannot be respectful in the chat, we have longer timeouts. I really don't want to do that, but I'm not afraid to. And we want everyone here to have a good time and a good discussion. We like differences of opinion, but we do it respectfully here. So just to put that out there, folks.
Yeah, don't piss off the mods. They'll drop the hammer down. But yeah, we do have a graded approach, by the way. So we appreciate, and we understand that some people have an off night. They say things a little bit inappropriate they didn't really mean. So we give people a timeout to recollect themselves and give you a graded approach. If you come back and immediately start crap again, you'll get kicked out of the live for the rest of the live. And if you do it like 3 or 4 times, then you'll be not invited to the channel, unfortunately. But we try to give you grace to like have a bad night, say things that maybe are a little bit rude or whatever. So I got one more thing I want to cover in Kohberger, and then I'm going to tease one more time the giveaway that we've got going on before we move on to another case that I'm following. Yeah, so I'm going to tease one more story, and then I'm going to let you guys ask any other comments or make any other comments about Idaho 4 you want before we change to a different crime, a different case. All right. So this is the one I want to bring up on camera now. Let's see. I'm going to remove this from stage, and I'm going to add this to stage.
Well, while you're doing that, we have 5 people watching over on X. Yes, we are streaming to several different platforms this evening. So hello to our new fam over there on X. We're glad to have you with us tonight.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Like, I know we're getting a slow start on other platforms, and we have to be careful about saying other platforms because we don't want other platforms getting mad that we're advertising other platforms on other platforms. So we'll just be platform agnostic, but as much as possible. But that's very, very cool. Now,
and get your butts over to State of the Deep.
So let me remove this and put this on stage. This was one of those, and I need to remove the comments so that you can see it a little better. This I just thought was hilarious. Narrative shaping again from this news site Express. Serial killer who murdered 4 students throws a huge prison tantrum over bananas. So this is the new news dated February 28th, 2025. Bryan Kohberger is throwing a little tantrum in prison, a huge prison tantrum. When you get into the story, it says, hey, Kohberger's in there throwing tantrums about the fruit that he's been given. It says he reportedly he filed complaints about the types of bananas he's received. Then it goes on to say, Chris McDonough, retired homicide detective who works for Cold Cases Foundation, told Daily Mail that the mass killer has been complaining about the type of bananas that he's been given. He said, I'm not sure if it means that they have bruises on them, or he just doesn't like that they're a particular type of banana that he likes. You just can't make this shit up, or this stuff up. The guy is a quadruple killer complaining about the bananas not being the type that he likes. So he filed a complaint about a banana, is what we know. And the headline is, he's throwing a huge temper tantrum in prison over bananas. Like, no part of what he just described is a temper tantrum over bananas. He filed a complaint. So the guy takes the complaint and runs with it. Look, he's been a little bitch in prison, throwing a huge temper tantrum like a little baby. Like, I fucking get tired of the asinine narrative shaping, just constant narrative shaping, throwing a tantrum over bananas when all the guy knows is that he filed a complaint about bananas, which he doesn't even know what the complaint was about. It could have been about bruises. It could have been the type of, he doesn't know what it's about, but he's certainly throwing a temper tantrum.
And
go ahead.
Can I interject, D-Dave, real quick? So you mentioned Christopher McDonough, right? He's a former homicide detective, has this big channel on our platform. And the fact that he threw out this banana bit and is focused on Bryan Kohberger, supposedly as the lone killer, that says a lot about McDonough. That is he a disinformation, misinformation agent on this case? That's my big question. So.
Right. And so do you guys have some comment? First of all, Amanda B, thank you so much for the gift. You are now in the running for the merchandise as well. I'm going to show the merchandise after we get done talking here about Kohberger, and then I'm going to show one more time the giveaway that we got going, but you're in the running now as well for that. So thank you so much for that. Maybe you're in the running twice because I only asked for 5 and you gave me 10. So maybe we should, I don't know. But anyways, what do you guys think about that article of, Bryan Kohberger is throwing a temper tantrum in prison now about bananas?
I don't know. Maybe they see that we're still talking about the case, so they gotta target the normies and put some information about the mass killer out. I'm fascinated. What fascinates me, I think, the most about cases like this is how easily people accept narratives. It's kind of disturbing, actually. I mean, it's really wild. Like, I guess, and I've said this for a long time, a lot of people don't care about the truth. They just need a narrative to grab onto. And I wish I was one of those people sometimes because, I want to know the truth about things, about everything in life. And I just don't get it. There's too many things in this case that would point to, at the very least, that the official story is fiction. I mean, including the books that were put out that were like total fiction. I mean, Bloom's book was ridiculous. Like, oh, I got all these inside sources, but I can't tell you who they are because, or I got all this information, but I wasn't going to pay anybody. Like,
right.
So he can't tell you where he got the information because, I didn't want to have to pay anybody. The guy was just making things up. It's almost like he was commissioned to write that.
And that's
book.
what I told this was my personal rant. I said, as soon as Bryan Kohberger entered the plea, they now will be free to say whatever they want. They can make up anything they want because there will never be a case. It'll never be proven wrong. They can now say anything they want. And immediately the narrative will start shaping. Oh yeah, he was stalking the girls. It was 100% verified. He was stalking the girl. They can keep saying that now because there'll never be a trial to prove that that's full of shit. They got carte blanche now to say whatever the fuck they want with impunity because there's never going to be a trial to correct them anyways. So they can say what they want now. So that's what's happening. And
but I mean,
way,
it's like people like Bloom, though, is supposed to be this New York Times award-winning journalist, yet he puts out a book that's a lot of the information in his book was completely wrong, and there's no pushback. There's no backlash. And normies just eat that shit up and they just swallow it whole.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. I mean, look at all the different things that surround this case that are very suspicious, in my opinion, just like the stuff with like the whole targeted, isolated attack. I mean, that was a lie. They didn't know that at that point in time. That was the school saying, listen, man, we better have our kids coming back to school after the break. Right. So you're going to say that there's nothing to worry about. This was a targeted attack. They were given their marching orders by somebody.
So, but see, that's the thing. It begs the question, because here's the thing. On the one hand, you can say they absolutely lied about it was a targeted attack when they had no idea if it was a targeted attack or not, because they wanted people to feel safe to bring their kids back to campus, and they can't have everybody pulling their kids out of school and saying, don't go to Idaho. They got a serial killer on the loose over there. So they just would lie and say, hey, it was targeted when they know it wasn't. Or they did know it was targeted, and they've been lying all along by acting like they don't know exactly what happened in that house, which I'm almost inclined to think it's the latter. They knew what happened that night. They knew what happened, and they've been hiding what really happened this whole time. That's my guess. But it could be, just like you said, there's a motive behind telling everybody, hey, this was not some random act of violence. There's nobody that's out there going to kill somebody else. They came there for a very specific person. You're safe. Don't worry about it. Come back to school. When they maybe just were lying about that and pulling it out of their ass. I did want to just briefly hit on one thing real quick. I could go on a soapbox. Somebody said about the grand jury that a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. That's a famous saying that you'll hear in law. Grand juries, for those who don't know, who think that somehow it's a sign of guilt if a grand jury indicts Kohberger in the murder, that must mean he did it. Grand juries presented evidence without the defense even being there. The defense, most of the time, is never at a grand jury thing. It's a private jury that's held in private, where only the prosecution shows only their side with nothing on the defense defending against it. And then a jury says, does it look like you have a good enough case to go forward with trial? And that's it. And so they generally will indict a ham sandwich. Like you don't have to prove much that you have enough to go forward, because they never even heard the defense's argument. So that's just a little FYI for people who think that grand juries indicting somebody means something. It means very, very little. They always indict practically, and in fact, if somebody doesn't get indicted by grand jury, it means something. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Famously, in the JonBenét Ramsey case, to your point, remember the feds, the jury indicted, and yet that was, held in vest, that wasn't made known public. We didn't get to know that for 10 or 15 or whatever it was, 20 years down the road, So anyway, that's a whole other case that I'm hoping we'll cover one day.
All right. Well, so I've got some Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson stuff. I've got some Luigi Mangione stuff, and maybe even a little Lisk stuff. And I don't want to keep us forever. Because we're going to switch gears, I want to one more time say I've got a drawing going on. I've got a raffle going on. If you donate $5 or more to a super chat to support the channel, you are going to be able to be in a drawing for tonight for a large zipper hoodie. And I'm going to show my wife's new modeling skills once again to show you my merchandise and what you're up for. It's not long, so just bear with us for a moment to see what you're in there for if you want to get in the running for a large zipper hoodie. And
is it real or just a dream? Can I tell you what I've seen? Pretty much at 4 a.m. a man appeared in front of
If you would like to get that large size zipper hoodie for free, then put yourself in by just donating $5 to a super chat, which supports the channel anyways. Even if it's not in your size and you'd like the pullover instead of the zipper, go to the shop and buy yourself a pullover and then give away the zipper hoodie to somebody else for Christmas, something like that. Anyways, so let's move on to another case, and I'm going to move to I think I want to move to Luigi Mangione only slightly because it's huge news. Let's put it on screen here.
Is he free? Did they release him?
They did not
Luigi.
release him. They did not release him. But people think that he's about to be released. But we'll debunk that. So here's the thing: on Monday, this is a super interesting thing from a legal standpoint. I had to do some, and I can't wait to get Ali Benevento or even the custody queens or any of the attorneys that we've had on the show to come on and talk to us about this. There's a really weird thing. I have stated Luigi Mangione is the alleged shooter of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. He was shot in New York on December 4th, I believe it was, 2024. Luigi was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania on the 9th, 5 days after the shooting on the 9th. In Altoona, Pennsylvania, that arrest, because I look at law and I look at the legal documents, that was an illegal arrest. His attorney in Pennsylvania by the name of Thomas Dickey filed a huge motion laying out all the reasons why that was an illegal arrest. And it's not just reaching for the stars. Literally, he was not read his Miranda rights for 17 minutes or more while being interrogated, being pinned in a corner by a wall of police officers. His items were taken from him, illegally searched and seized, and went through his items before he was even read his Miranda rights. One of the officers on scene 17 minutes in said, "Has anybody told him that he's under investigation and has the right to remain silent?" And they said no. And they're like, fuck. So somebody literally is like, "Hey, you're under investigation. Now do you want to tell us that your name is, Mark Rosario," because he gave them a fake name. I went through the whole thing. It's not illegal it is not illegal in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to give a police officer a false name if you have not been informed that you're under arrest or that you're under investigation. They had not. They clearly say, now that you have been informed that you are under investigation, would you like to tell us that your name is Mark Rosario? He stopped talking to them. He was done talking to them and never said it again. So that entire arrest is illegal. And for a year, we've been waiting for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to rule on it, but they won't. Here's the interesting caveat. New York State extradited Luigi Mangione to New York for murder. He faces murder charges in the state. Then the federal government swooped in, and they also charged him with murder in the state, in the Southern District of New York. So Luigi Mangione is facing 2 court cases, 2 different jurisdictions in New York, both of which his attorney is Karen Agnifilo. I'm sorry that I talk fast and this is going a million miles an hour, but I want to get you up to speed as quickly as possible. Here's the really weird, crazy thing. In the documents charging Luigi Mangione with murder of Brian Thompson, they listed the items that were taken from Luigi in Pennsylvania. They listed that he had the gun on him. They listed that he had a confession letter on him. They listed that he had a notebook with his grievances against the health industry. They noted that he had bullets on him, that he had fake IDs, all of which are illegally obtained and inadmissible in court if the courts rule the way they're supposed to. And I kept saying, how is it that New York is actually listing in their evidence items that haven't been ruled on whether it was legal in the first place? The arrest isn't legal. That's been my maintain. And by the way, Karen Agnifilo, who's a masterful attorney, blasted the same thing and said that arrest is illegal. And she even did better than Thomas Dickey explaining to the judge why it was a 100% illegal arrest. You got something for us, SGs, real quick?
Well, something hopefully you'll find interesting. They're going to use, I believe, USC code 3521 WITSEC law, I predict, and you're already seeing it happening based on your statements, where they're going to seal records. They're going to do almost anything they want. It will be a show trial, and I'm so looking forward to it. And we'll get into more of that USC code 3521 WITSEC law another time.
Yeah, and so and by the way, thank you for the gifts that are coming in to support. You're in the raffle for the drawing at the end of the night for that thing. So I appreciate that so much for supporting the channel, and even better for going above and beyond what's required minimum for the raffle. So thank you so much. But yeah, so here's what's interesting about this whole thing is that because New York has extradited Luigi and facing him there, and they're in first position to try him, they actually are going to be the ones to rule on the legality of the arrest in Pennsylvania. So apparently Pennsylvania doesn't even have to rule on it. New York's going to make the ruling on whether the arrest in Pennsylvania was legal or not. And that is a lot of what's happening over the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It may actually last all week long, but I will tell you this. At no insult to Thomas Dickey, because I'm sure Thomas Dickey is a fantastic attorney, but Karen Agnifilo has been referred to by other attorneys as the Rolls Royce or the Mercedes of attorneys. She is top notch. And when she writes shit, she kicks people in the balls with fantastic writing. Karen is going to make an enormous ruling or argument for why that was an illegal arrest. And I am 100% convinced it's illegal. Now, before you freak out and think that I'm yay, go for the killer, he gets to get away with murder. That's not what we're talking about here. What we talk about this thing is whether Luigi Mangione did it or not, you cannot break the law and violate people's constitutional rights and do whatever the hell you want because you want the bad guy to go away so bad that you'll bend the law. You can't plant evidence on people because you want them to go away. You can't lie. You can't violate their constitutional rights. And so that's what happened to Luigi Mangione. They believe he's the killer and they want him so bad that they will do anything, including illegal arrest, potentially planting evidence, whatever the case may be, to make sure Luigi goes down for this and be the most dangerous man in America because he killed a CEO, and that's a danger to the elites. That's kind of my little personal rant. But what's super interesting is what's going to happen. Now, Judge Caro is the judge in the state of New York versus Luigi Mangione. He's the one that's going to be making the ruling as they argue about the admissibility of evidence. Judge Caro has already made a balls of steel judgment in this case that pissed off the prosecution, which is that he ruled Luigi Mangione is not a terrorist. They wanted to charge him with first degree murder in furtherance of an act of terrorism. And Judge Caro said, Luigi Mangione is not a terrorist. Any way you slice it, you cannot misabuse the term terrorist and apply it to Luigi because he killed a CEO of a private company. There's no terrorism in that. And that really killed a lot of their case because they wanted first degree murder on him and they had to drop it to second degree murder because it was not in furtherance of the act of terrorism, according to Judge Caro. That's the same judge who's going to be ruling on whether or not the evidence in the illegal arrest in Altoona, Pennsylvania is admissible or not. And now I keep saying it's an illegal arrest. That's my personal opinion. I'm not an attorney. However, I will tell you, I'm almost certain Ali Benevento, who I'm going to have on talking about that, will tell you the same thing. Ali Benevento believes it was 100% an illegal arrest. I had on early on this case, I had Cynthia Thornton, an attorney in New York and Texas, and she said that was an illegal arrest. I've had two big attorneys tell me that's an illegal arrest. Every day, that's an illegal arrest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, Jason teased, is he let go yet? There are people who think, wrongly so, that if the arrest was illegal and they don't have a gun and they don't have the confession letter and they don't have notebooks detailing his grievances to get the hell out of the industry, that he walks. No, he will not walk. They have enough evidence on him, they say, via CCTV cameras, tracking his goings about to and from New York, from other places. They believe they've got a case with or without the evidence, but make no bones about it. If you don't have the murder weapon and you don't have the confession letter and you don't have all these things that they think they have right now, it's a much, much different case. So that's it. Coming up on Monday.
Doesn't it sound a little bit similar to the Idaho 4?
It does sound a lot similar to the Idaho 4. I see that Robin dropped off. I don't know if that was an accident. I'll bring her back on stage. Did you drop off on purpose, Robin, or did you just lose connection?
Yeah. I had to, I had to deal with an unruly dog.
Oh, all right. So what do you guys have? I know this isn't your guys' big case and you don't really care probably as much as I do, but if you're on my show, damn it, you're going to talk about it. So do you guys have any thoughts about the admissibility of the evidence and the arrest and anything like that you want to weigh in on?
I mean, I'm going to say more or less what I always say. It's this was an operation because Brian Thompson was going to testify in an antitrust case. And I think that he was, I don't know, I can't pretend to know the inner workings of how corporate espionage works. But if you wanted to carry out something that would accomplish a few objectives, So you hire somebody to take out the person of interest, and it creates a public stir. And as I always say, it gives the public, they get their evil CEO. So it's like, you feed the machine, and then you have a guy who's fits a perfect bill to play a patsy in a high profile case that I believe was recruited by intelligence agencies or a corporate espionage outfit, which oftentimes are related to intelligence. I mean, there were companies, there was a company, you guys may have heard of it. It was called Kroll and Associates, and it was a corporate security firm. And I actually knew a guy who was basically applying to work for that company at one point in time. I knew nothing about that world. And then later on, after reading and learning things, you hear rumblings that was a CIA front company. That was their little arm in the private sector, how to control, another way to move the chess pieces around. So I believe that was, a paid hit, and that Luigi Mangione is just a guy who was either working for intel agencies or recruited by an outfit to play that role. And I don't know, what's going to happen with this case, because a lot of these cases, they go on down the road. Like, have we heard anything about James Holmes?
Yeah, right. No,
that was one of the biggest shootings in American history, supposedly. And you hear nothing about him anymore. So a lot of these people, they kind of just drop off the radar. Nobody knows anything about them. You don't know if they're even still in prison. I mean, realistically. So I don't know, man. I just think we're getting hit up with so many psyops now in the world. Fortunately, there are people who are aware of it. If you're active on X, you see there's a lot of people that know what psyops are, where I don't believe 10 years ago there were nearly as many people aware. Joe Rogan just had a whole episode about MK Ultra.
Yeah.
2 days ago, or maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday. So the public is waking up to a lot of the things that, the fuckery, if you will, that goes on when it comes to the government and corporations. And so in this case, I wish I had more for you about that. It's hard for me to go away from what I believe, and that this was an operation. Charlie Kirk was an operation. And the more I talk to you guys about it, I think Idaho 4 was an operation.
So what about you guys, Robin and Jason? Do you have any thoughts on the Luigi thing? And by the way, thank you again. Real quick before you answer, I apologize to anyone who thought when I said $5 or more that meant $4.99 didn't count as an entry into the drawing tonight. $4.99 does count as an entry into the drawing. So I super apologize if the only reason some people donated $10 is because they felt that it had to be over $4.99. $4.99 counts as $5. I should have made that clear. Super sorry. But thank you again for the super chat, and you're entered to the drawing for the zipper hoodie as well. Anyways, go ahead, Robin or Jason Estes, if you want to weigh in on we got some cats on screen. Fantastic. Robin, go while Jason's getting his cat wrangled.
It seems to be a night for animals. Luigi's case is fascinating on a lot of different levels, and I agree with you, Lee, that it's going to be a very important case, especially in our country here. You often say that the healthcare system is going to be on trial, and essentially that's right. And I think that it's kind of a byproduct of this whole situation, but I also think it's kind of I'm not condoning, of course, if allegedly Luigi is the killer or a part of the whole operation or scenario. But it is bringing that kind of awareness, and so many people in our country are affected by various health conditions and have to deal with insurance, which can of course be a nightmare. This is going to be a case to watch for many different reasons, and I only hope that people can recognize that and will tune in and will start to wake up to what is really going on, and not just listen to what the mainstream media is, the narrative that they're putting out there every day regarding this and a lot of other things. So yeah, this is going to be one to watch, folks. Definitely
It is. It's going to be a monumental case. It's going to be what I call a landmark case in the United States. I think it's going to make a difference in law. I think it's going to change some laws in America, I think, but that's me. Maybe not. But go ahead, Estes, what do you got on this case?
Well, first, I totally agree with Robin. Stay tuned and watch mainstream media with their lies and misinformation, disinformation. I think Robin is referring. I totally agree with Joe that he said, I believe a couple of nights ago, that Luigi's an actor. And of course, he talks about how he's probably connected to the intelligence agencies, or as you said, corporate espionage. It's brilliant. But you never asked me, DA, when I mentioned US Code 3521, you didn't say, are you a lawyer, Jason? Were you a lawyer before?
Were you a lawyer before?
Why not? Yeah. No. I was never a lawyer, but again, US Code 3521, WITSEC law, WITEC, baby. As you guys know, Federal Witness Security Program in the United States, they relocate your identity, relocate your name, and on. And that will be Luigi. I predict the future. He will be out the back door. He'll be like the 4 students, I believe, in the Idaho 4. He'll be living on a beach, this good-looking guy, supposedly with screws in his back, and he'll be in a WITSEC program. And it's because, as you guys, I think, know, the feds, elements of them, the DOJ with the FBI, some of the local law enforcement, maybe in New York, a few of them, but most of them are not read into this, but DOJ, FBI, etc., they want to protect of the full truth coming out, just like the Idaho 4. And it's up to us to bring that truth and transparency that's needed, because they do not want transparency. They are the opposite of that. And they have their reasons. But we have our reasons. We want to demand justice in these cases. And as you said, DA, I agree, this is going to be a landmark case, but it will be a show trial, mark my words, if it goes to court.
I agree with that. So thank you for weighing in. I got one more thing to show on Luigi. I do want to tease, by the way, somebody had said in the chat, hey, you should cover the List case. Not only do we cover the List case, but if you have covered the List case, you will know the name John Ray. I've interviewed John Ray on my show. I've just recently did a big special about John Ray's new motion going against Peter Hackett, suing Peter Hackett in a lawsuit for being involved in covering up and hampering the investigation into the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but I couldn't wait to say, not only am I covering Lisk, but I visited John Ray in his office. I sat in his office and we talked Lisk case.
Wow.
So yeah, we're all over that, and it's a great thing. I want to show you a graphic here to end the Luigi discussion. And again, I want to caveat this as I'm not trying to brag about a killing. I don't believe in support vigilante justice, so I'm not saying that it's okay for if Luigi did it, but let's remember that Luigi Mangione has a presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. I'm not saying that's okay, but I am saying that we should be asking the question, how did we get to the point in America where somebody is considered a hero for killing a CEO of United Healthcare Company because the company is predatory and has been abusing people, and thousands of people are dying every single day because of policies that deny people claims that they're supposed to have and coverage that they have, and somebody's grandmother is dying because of a policy that an AI decision has made. So that should be the bigger conversation, not did this guy shoot this guy and is it okay to shoot him? It's that bigger thing. Why do we have this kind of healthcare system? Take a look at this. Add to stage. Look at this graph. This is the growth of Luigi Mangione's legal fund that people donate to for Luigi Mangione, and we're going to point out some dates. When it started after the shooting, it reached $100,000, and then it went to terrorism charge. His perp walk, it kept going up. He pled not guilty, and the money kept going up.
That's not going to go to Luigi.
Yeah, Luigi made a public statement thanking supporters. They made a fund for it. Pre-trial hearing, anonymous donation of $30,000 comes in. Anonymous, another $36,000 comes in. By the way, DOJ announces their intent to seek the death penalty, and his money went up. Anonymous donation, $20,000. Indicted on federal charges, and his money goes up. Federal court appearance, Luigi pleads not guilty, his money goes up. His birthday, money shot the way the hell up. And then we're over $1 million. Anonymous donation, $50,000. Fund surpasses $1.25 million. Terrorism charges were dropped, and then the money goes up. And Debbie, $11.5 thousand donation in the name of Debbie, somebody. So that's to show you, again, not supporting a murderer, but showing you that something's different about this case. Some of the donors who are donating $30,000 and $40,000 are themselves doctors or people of a high profession who are like, this is a bullshit system. And I want to see this play out in the court of law kind of thing. So this is a major monumental thing that's going on in the country. And I don't know that people normally generate this kind of money this fast as is happening in the legal fund. So I just thought it was interesting to show that graphic on the way out as we finish Luigi Mangione's case. And again, it's not to say that it's okay, vigilante justice and all that stuff like that, but I thought it was worth commenting on. All right. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit, and then we'll talk about, actually, we might talk real quick about Lisk first. Let me make sure which order I have it in.
Yeah, can't wait. We may have a special guest on that one for
oh, I don't have my Lisk slide. I don't have, oh, here's my Lisk slide. Okay. Let me put this up. So I just wanted to point out this morning, I had this add to stage. Oops, I want to play from current slide. All right, let's put this on stage. So this was a video that I made 2 mornings ago. It's 2 hours long, but this includes the fact that John Ray has been cleared to proceed with his lawsuit against Dr. Peter Hackett, or Charles Peter Hackett. It got confusing. It was like, why is it Charles Hackett here and Peter Hackett there? His name's actually Charles Peter Hackett. In some places he goes by Charles Hackett. In some places he goes by Peter Hackett. Not nearly as confusing as Idaho 4 with 12 different Jacks and 15 different Hunters and Ethans and whatever, but it's still a little bit confusing. The point being is that I did this video. It has my video has the full 911 call from Shannan Gilbert, which law enforcement told everybody as they suppressed that 911 call for the longest time and told you Shannan Gilbert was not under any kind of duress. Her life was not threatened. There was no signs of any trouble at all. There's nothing to see here. And she accidentally killed herself by getting lost in some bushes, and she died of hypothermia or something like that. It's just an accident. She was never under duress. It took years for John Ray to fight for the release of a 911 call that they told you was an accident by saying to him that this is an ongoing investigation. And as John had to argue over and over again, John Ray, how can you claim it's an ongoing investigation while telling everybody it was an accident? If it's an accident, it's not an ongoing investigation. Years after fighting for it, John Ray was given the copy of the 911, but couldn't release it. They said it's for you and Mary Gilbert, Shannan's mother, to hear, and only you, and he couldn't come forward with it. Not too long ago, they finally came forward with the public and released portions of the 911 call that supported the official narrative of the police department. John Ray has released, in addition, the full 911 call to show that they're lying to you about the 911 call. Shannan Gilbert repeatedly said, they're trying to kill me, that people are after me, they're trying to kill me, that don't take me, stop, there's a struggle, she screams. All the things they told you. Shannan Gilbert wasn't under duress. There's no signs of duress whatsoever. She's screaming and telling people that they're trying to kill her. That sounds like duress to me. So, while John Ray did say that he does not believe Peter Hackett is directly involved with the murder of Shannan Gilbert, Peter Hackett did say that night, Shannan Gilbert, he told Shannan's mother, your daughter came to my house in a gated community and knocked on my door. I happen to be a doctor. I took her in and I treated her medically and I sent her on her way and I never saw her again. Sorry, what happened to your daughter? He called Mary Gilbert again and said, by the way, have you heard anything about your daughter? Do you have a status? I just want to let you know, I took her in that night. I treated her medically. I sent her on her way. Then when the media came after Charles Peter Hackett and said, hey, what happened with Shannon? He goes, I don't know. I never saw her. And they're like, liar. You called her mother twice and said you saw her and you treated her. And he's like, nope, never saw her. Nothing to see here. Never. You guys are crazy. No, I had no interaction with Shannon Gilbert. So at a minimum, John Ray is going after Peter Hackett for hampering the investigation, lying to the law enforcement, lying to the media, saying he had no idea about Shannon Gilbert while calling her mother and saying, hey, have they found your daughter yet? Just want to let you know I treated her that night and sent her on her way. So that's what the gist of what's going after. I believe John Ray knows damn well Peter Hackett's lying, and I mean, there's no question. And so he's now going after him for hampering that investigation. And I hope that goes well. It's going to potentially rip the Long Island serial killer case a new ass, because it's a side tangent. They'll never talk about that in the trial of Rex Heuermann, but it is related to the case, in my opinion. And Shannon had met Rex Heuermann before, and that's on an affidavit. So do any of my panelists have any interest in Lisk, or is it just me? And do you have any comments at all?
Oh, I have big interest in Lisk. Actually been following this for a long time. And I think that even though, like you're saying, a lot of this stuff may not be brought up at the Heuermann trial, I do believe, and I fervently hope and pray that this will somehow bring about justice for Shannon. I hope that John Ray, and if anybody can do it, it's him, can shake some stuff loose, make some things happen, and that finally we may learn the truth of what exactly happened to Shannon.
Yeah, me too. I'm very hopeful. Like you said, I think if anybody can do it, it's John Ray. He's kind of a pit bull with that stuff. Not everybody's favorite attorney, because he keeps going after the questions that they don't want asked, which is why I love the dude. You guys have any comments on it? Joe, you have any comments?
Yeah, I was, because I've only really dug into this case as far as watching that documentary Gone Girls.
Yeah.
How did Shannon Gilbert end up? Did she live in that area?
No.
Okay.
Shannon Gilbert was
No.
allegedly a call girl, did escort services from New Jersey. She worked for a company John Ray discovered called Lace Party Girls. They would bring her out to Oak Beach, a private gated community. John Ray pointed out that people think that Shannon Gilbert was a low-priced prostitute of like $200 or $300. Her rate was more like $3,000-$5,000 range, because she would come potentially with drugs to high-end clients in the Oak Beach area where there's doctors and people behind a gated community. So she was not from that area, but there's indications that she had been there before and that she knew the people that she'd had run-ins with them before. Rex Heuermann may or may not have been there. We don't have any proof that Rex was, but she has had a run-in with Rex Heuermann before in the past. So that's a little bit of background there.
Yeah, it just seems like, for a lot of people, they may say, because you've talked about potential involvement of the police. And I'd be inclined to agree with you that there was somehow police involvement. It may not have been widespread. It might have been just people that knew Rex Heuermann and they were involved in, swinger parties and things like that. But a lot of people would say, oh, that's crazy. Cops would never do that. A lot of these cases, I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding how so much shit can go down, so much shady stuff. I mean, if you look into the projected estimates about how many people in the world are sociopaths, I mean, if you've ever read that book, The Sociopath Next Door, it was written by a Harvard professor. I can't remember her name, Dr. Martha something, but she estimated that as many as 4%, as much as 4% of the population are sociopaths. Now think about that.
You're gonna ruin my weekend.
I mean, yeah, 4%
killing me.
is a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? And for those who may not know, but I assume a lot of true crime people know this stuff, sociopathy is, they essentially don't feel remorse. Their brains don't register empathy. Literally, it's been tested. So the things that you or I or decent, normal people could never even fathom doing, a sociopath, it doesn't register with them. And I've said many times, I know we talked about it on Deep Devils. I had a class that was taught by a former FBI special agent, and he said that they believed among the FBI and high-level law enforcement that a lot of CEOs and high-level politicians are sociopaths. And that's how they're able to do some of the things that they do.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I mean, in all these cases, and this one in particular, if cops, there could have been a few cops that were involved, and that's just enough to bury a lot of things and to obstruct a lot of investigating.
Yeah, and I believe that the evidence is there, and I won't waste everybody's time right now, but I believe the evidence is there that cops were involved, that there's a history of police officers and Rex Heuermann partying together that's been documented by John Ray. It's a deep rabbit hole that I can't wait to try to share with people and hope they get excited about. It's going to be a monumental case next year, in my opinion, and it's going to have huge implications. I love exposing corruption and all of the lies and mainstream media narratives where they try to tell people how to feel about things. That's what I'm all about. I play devil's advocates with their bullshit narrative of this guy's a horrible person and I hope he goes down for it, instead of saying, but what about the corrupt cops that were covering for him? What about the DA that's covering for him? What about like all, not Ray Tierney, by the way, in case you're thinking I just accused Ray Tierney. For those who know the case, I'm not saying Ray Tierney is covering for him. Just want to clarify that. But the point being is that there's a lot of shit in this case that has huge amounts of corruption. So I want to turn our attention for the last few minutes here to Charlie Kirk and a few things. One of which I want to play. I want to start with a video that I really. So they're talking about gag ordering the Tyler Robinson trial. And so they're talking about they're already making motions to gag order the thing. However, in this case, what they're trying to gag order that we're talking about is politicians continuing to come out and tell you that Tyler Robinson's guilty before he ever sets foot in the courtroom. And so here's a good example. I think that hopefully I can bring this up on stage and play this, and hopefully you have audio. It's not too long, and I think there's at the very beginning, there's a good argument for you can't fucking say that shit. If you're a politician, you can't say that. And at the end, listen to when a reporter or somebody says, hey, isn't it inappropriate for you to just say what you said? And he's like, I don't give a damn. Like he literally doesn't give a damn that he's saying prejudicial bullshit. So let's listen to this article. It's pissed, obviously it fires me up. Right.
Developing now, attorneys for accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson will soon ask a judge to modify a gag order in the case that could potentially keep any witnesses from talking, including political leaders, many of whom have already made statements. One of those leaders includes Utah Governor Spencer Cox. In a news conference following Robinson's arrest, and you can see it right here, Governor Cox said in part there was one person responsible for what happened here, and that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. It's just one of comments. One of the comments Robinson's defense teams call a prejudicial. Our station KUTV in Salt Lake City asked the governor about that claim.
Do you believe prejudicial public statements by government officials in any way jeopardize the state's ability to allow for a fair and impartial trial by comparison to other cases, other persons accused of serious crimes? And what precisely is the apparent need to offer up comments of guilt in this particular case pre-trial?
I don't have any concerns. No. Yeah.
So there you go. As a governor, I'm going to say there's only one person responsible for this. He's in jail. He will be held accountable before he has his trial. And then when he asks, hey, doesn't that sound prejudicial? I really don't care. I don't care. This guy's guilty. So there you go. That's your officials. Like, should they be doing that? But then you have to ask yourself the question, do we want a gag order put on anybody? Should he have the right as the governor to say, yeah, Tyler Robinson's the killer. I hope he fries. Or is it, what do you guys feel about that? What is it? What are your thoughts? Oh,
I'll be
you're on mute.
repeating myself if I say anything.
Do it.
Well, it's obviously it's not going to be a real trial, so the guy can say whatever he wants because this was obviously an operation. I mean, DA, I long for the day when there's a case that we talk about that's not an obvious operation, so we can actually talk about the merits of the case. But in this case, just like the other two, I'm starting to think all these high-profile cases are operations. I mean,
dude, you think everything is an op, and I think everything's an extraction. What the hell is going on here?
We're consistent.
I think everything is a narrative bullshit. So we all have our wheelhouses.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they obviously, these cases, it's a fair and impartial trial with the way the media has total license to say whatever they want, to convict people in the media, and there's never any pushback at all. And the sad reality is, and I'm sorry to all the normies out there, I love you, I have a lot of friends that are normies, and the media is not obligated to tell you the truth. They're not an official source of information. Many people have gone through their life thinking the news is some official certified source of information. It's not. It's a business that is in cahoots with the government and the intelligence agencies, and always has been. So their whole job is to shape narratives and public opinion, and that is literally what the media is for. That's what they are paid to do. So I don't watch the mainstream media, and I would highly recommend, if you want to start noticing things, to all the people that still watch the news, I don't care what outlet you watch, stop watching it for a few months and then watch it. And you'll notice things that you never noticed before, because you get desensitized to being lied to. And then when you get away from it for a while and you go back and watch it, whether you're at a friend's house or you see clips online, you go, wait a minute, they're obviously lying. You'll notice things in their behavior that maybe you didn't notice in the past.
Yeah.
You're so cynical.
I'm a realist.
You're a realist.
What about
and real quick, guys, if I may, Joe, you mentioned Joe Rogan. I think it's important to note on MK Ultra, but it's another example, I believe, these grifters and Joe Rogan at the top, most famous podcaster, has some interesting guests. But, the CIA, they come out with the truth of MK Ultra, or most of us, the public, are learning it. But many people way, way after the fact, right? Many, many years later. To this day, my amazing Canadian university, I forget which one, that was responsible for MK Ultra, they still haven't even apologized and said sorry. So again, the most important thing in life, as I've said, and I learned from Dr. Shiva and the famous astronaut Alan McDonald, is to tell the truth at the right time, God damn it. Don't delay truth, because delaying truth is dead.
We've got to get our normies, though, even if they come into the fold late, it's better late than never, right?
That's
so
right.
For
Good
guys
point.
like
Good
you
point.
and I, we've known about this stuff for a long time, but we got to bring the normies into the fold. And if they get it in drips and drabs, then maybe there's hope that they'll start to wake up.
Robin, do you want to wait to the next slide? Did you want to weigh in before I move to the next slide?
No, go ahead.
All right. So it's funny because people were putting on in the chat the very thing that I have a slide about. Erica Kirk's pregnancy rumors. That's top of my list. JD Vance rumors. Candace Owen effect. I was going to talk about that a little bit. The French, is she being targeted by the French government? The trap theory. rabid fans who treat her word as gospel. So really the last three bullets there are under Candace Owens effect. So pregnancy rumors are abounding that Erica Kirk is pregnant, well pregnant. It may not have been Charlie Kirk's baby. There's all these rumors out there about JD Vance and how Erica was groomed to be JD Vance's wife at some point, but that didn't pan out. And so she became Kirk's. I just wanted to get kind of a free form panel discussion about those two areas alone, not the Candace Owen effects at the moment. But do you guys have thoughts or feelings about all the rumors circulating about whether or not Charlie Kirk's kids are really his? You know, did he find out that they weren't his kids? Is she pregnant again with another person's baby? Was it not his baby? You know, what do you think?
Well, the CIA is known down through history to kind of run in families and to, you know, have arranged marriages and relationships and so forth. So I'm not sure if she was handpicked specifically to be, you know, JD Vance's, although he's involved with the Heritage Foundation and they're known for doing some of the same type of thing. If you ever watch any of their training videos, the women on there look pretty much like Stepford wives. So it could be. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and to my way of thinking, not totally out of the realm of possibility that something like that could have happened.
What about you guys? I know Estes had his hand up, so you want to go next?
Sure. I can't help it. I have to admit it now. I had a dream several nights ago that Erica Kirk and I had a baby, and not just us, but Kirk as well, his kids, and we were frolicking on the beach. No, seriously, we were frolicking on the beach under the sun. It was beautiful, and we were protected by the WITSEC program, that Federal Witness Security Program that protects confidential informants, government valuable assets. Think Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, very valuable government assets. Our kids were protected, and we were living a beautiful life, and I hope I have more dreams like that. Thank you, Erica Kirk.
Well, I appreciate you sharing with the entire world your sexual fantasies. That's fantastic. That it takes really a brave man. I love that. It's awesome. I'm just curious. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna go any further on that because I'm inappropriate enough. I don't need to do that tonight. But that's very good. How about you, Joe? I saw you laughing the entire time you said, "Yeah, you know."
Estes, you trying to tell us something, man? Did you have some interactions with Erica Kirk at some point in time, man? Is that what you're trying to say, Papa Estes?
We may have played tennis a few times. No, we didn't play tennis.
You know, look. Yeah. Erica Kirk's family comes from the security state. I think it's pretty widely known now. And I think that in that world, like Robin said, it's very common to pair people together, or it's been done forever in intelligence. They have attractive women that get close to powerful people. I mean, that there was that movie Red Sparrow, you know, in Russia, they were called sparrows, where they would have these attractive women that would get close to powerful people. And, you know, same premise as like a honeypot type of a situation. But you connect these people in that world that are connected to that security state, intelligence world, the military industrial complex, when ultimately billions and billions of dollars are on the line, because you're talking about a Turning Point. Again, I'm speculating. Turning Point USA has a very wide reach with the young people. She was introduced to Charlie, from what I understand, through powerful people. Right. She was a pageant. You know, she was into pageantry and stuff like that, right? So she's obviously someone who wanted to. Go ahead, Estes.
Sorry, she was mailed an invitation for that pageantry, which is very, very odd. You know, most of the time you're a model. So she was very well connected even from the get-go, I believe, on the pageant system. But sorry, go
Right.
ahead, Joe.
So you bring people up through the ranks, and you know, an attractive woman, her family's connected. She's been exposed to powerful people. She had that nonprofit Romanian Angels and all these different things. She would have been rubbing elbows with the international business set and the intelligence world through her family. I think it's highly probable that she was introduced to Charlie because he was a guy who was getting a lot of power and a lot of exposure. And perhaps you keep close to people like that, right? You want to be able to have somebody close to them and to either monitor them or to also steer them in many cases, right? And so if that was, again, speculation, if that was her scripted role and Charlie is gone, if he's gone, or at the very least, even if he was extracted and it was a totally fake operation, he's out of the picture of Turning Point USA. So, you know, it's very plausible that if she was in fact an operative, that she's going to get attached to somebody else now that's in a powerful position. So I think that stuff is highly plausible if you understand the way that world works.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see, in my opinion. It's funny because we're not really talking about the alleged assassin, which is part of the thing I wanted to talk about. But I don't want to go forever tonight. We're already at 2 hours. But the lack of footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in should be a huge red flag. You would have thought that would be all over news, him turning himself in with his family, coming into the police station. There's apparently no footage of that whatsoever. We've heard nothing of Tyler Robinson practically at all for a long time now. And then all we hear in the news is Erica. She's starting a new TV show. She's going on campaign trail. They want her to run for the White House. They want her to marry this person. It's like it's all Erica all day, all the time. What happened to Tyler Robinson's trial? It's very interesting to me the way that this whole thing is being carried out. I want to finish with a couple thoughts and then give one more shot at people that can get into the drawing for the free hoodie tonight, or not a free. I guess you're paying a raffle, so you're not completely free. But I want to talk about the Candace Owens effect. I should have said Owens, right? Is it plural Owens? And I just left off the S.
Yeah, it's Owens.
I'm freaking. I can't believe I left off the S when I'm typing it. I keep repeating it because I'm reading it. And I'm just such a good reader that I'm reading it the way it's on screen, even though I did the typo.
And it's Candace with an A.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So I need Robin to proof my freaking slides, apparently. Anyways, so yeah, set aside all the blunders. Here I'm picking on a guy for saying that it's Zanny instead of Xana, and I get all these shit wrong. But let me talk about the I can't remember who said it. Somebody pointed out that Candace could be making a big mistake, being trapped into running right away with the French are out to kill me and they made a hit on me. And it may have been fed to her purposely so that she would go public and discredit herself when you find out there was nothing to it. It's called the trap theory. And so if she comes too quickly so she's right now, she's in the spotlight. Everybody in America, it seems like, has to know what Candace's talking points are for the day. So if somebody wants to discredit her, they give her information that they know is wrong. She jumps on it too quickly because she wants to be the first to the news to tell everybody, I've got the talking point of the day, and then discredit her when there's nothing to it. And this is how you get rid of her, by feeding her something and leading her into the trap. It's trap theory. So do you think that's possible in the Candace Owens effect? Is she running with stuff too quickly, not vetting stuff, and being led into a trap to discredit her credibility when she makes a major faux pas?
Before Estes comments, because I know what Estes is going to say about Candace, I'm going to say I look at it as one of a few ways, but the two of the ways that I look at it is she could be being fed misinformation deliberately to make her look bad and discredit her, right? She could have people in the government and things like that are feeding her misinformation that she thinks are trustworthy. But I actually was listening to Ian Carroll the last 2 days, and he was saying that one of the things that Candace does is she will put stuff out there to see what the response is from these entities. So she's testing the waters to see how they respond.
Yeah.
So she's had the legal back and forth with the Macrons, from France. So she's already had legal shit going back and forth with them. They're suing her and on and on. So there's a theory that she's putting that out there. She's pulling on a thread, and she waits to see how they respond. Because she didn't just say it was France. She said that the plane was where the plane was stopping over in Delaware was connected to a French company, right? So she hasn't overtly said it was only France, because again, it could have been other entities that are also involved, and they're using things connected to France. But anyway, so regarding the Candace Owens effect, yeah, I mean, it could be she's being fed misinformation, but it also could be that she's getting information and she's pulling on a thread, and she wants to see how it shakes out and what kind of pushback and response she gets, what she gets in the media. So, but again, this could all be a distraction, on top of everything. I'm open to all possibilities.
Robin, you have any thoughts, comments on that at all?
I think Candace, to me, she seems genuine. As far as whether or not she's being used, in that regard, I think that remains to be seen. Like Joe, I'm kind of open to whichever possibility it could be. I guess out of the group of us here, I don't want to, for lack of a better word, my thing is I'm never married to one thing or another. I'm more of, I don't call myself a truth seeker. Whatever it turns out to be is kind of what I'm after. So she might be controlled opposition. She may be completely on the up and up, or she could be just that savvy enough that behind the scenes she's doing all her own investigating, and she just might ferret out some really legit info that could just blow this whole thing wide open. So
yeah, well, that's good. And I think, Joe said something too that made me think, like, it's possible if she's fed information too, that she could be fed information to see how other people react to it. Like he said, like that, it could be like purposely a play to see, like, let's see what country freaks out and tries to cover their reactions because we called them out on the carpet about it. There could be a little bit of that as well, which is why I said, kind of like the idea of the limited hangout. Is she being fed information that is the information they want out there to see how different actors respond to it and whatever? So it's very interesting. And so I want to close up tonight. We're going to give away a large zipper hoodie. If you don't want to stay for the drawing, you don't have to stay, but I'm going to play one more time the merchandise, what it looks like, on my lovely wife, who's going to model this zipper hoodie, as well as the women's tee and the full pullover hoodie. And when it's done, we'll take the number of people that we have, and we'll do a random number generator, and we'll pick a winner who's going to get the raffled icon stuff. So let me put it up on screen, and I'm going to remove this. And
I'll respond to Candace another time, folks.
Is it real or just a dream? Can I tell you what I've seen? Pretty much at 4 a.m. a man appeared in
All right, so there you have it. Last chance for $4.99. I said $5, but for $4.99 super chat or higher, you can get entered into the raffle. We got 6 people in here, and that's if Live Scan 2002, who had gifted memberships, wants to be in the raffle. That wasn't clear because they gifted a couple of memberships, which certainly puts them over the dollar amount for the raffle. But do you want to be included? So if Live Scan's still here, I just want to clarify if you want to be in the raffle for that drawing. And then we got to figure out a random number generator. I can probably do it on my phone and just tell it to give me a number between, or I can, right now it's exactly 6. If I had a 6-sided dice laying beside me, I could roll the dice and tell you the number. And Robin, I don't know if you have a number generator to do this for us on the fly.
No, I don't know how to do that.
All right.
But
there's a YouTube random number generator. I just don't know how it would work.
Yeah, see, this was a quick.
We're doing it on the fly, and we had no idea how many numbers.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. All right.
I have all the names and everything written down.
Yeah, well, I've got them as well. So I'm going to do a random number generator between the numbers 1 and 6, including 1 and 6, because you don't want to have it tell you a number that's literally between 1 and 6, and 1 and 6 didn't get in the equation. And the spit out, and you probably can't see it because that's too tiny for you, unfortunately. The number was 1. So now the question becomes, is it the person who donated the gift of gift membership, or Shadow Flame, who came in with the first actual super chat donation?
Shadow Flame. I don't believe the other person is here at the moment. So number 1 I have written down is Shadow Flame.
Shadow Flame. So Shadow Flame wins a zipper hoodie, large size. The only caveat, of course, is you have to give me an address to ship it to. So I'll pay for the shipping as well. You don't have to pay for the shipping. You got a great deal. It sells for like $60 on my website, and it's on sale at the moment for like $45, but you got it for like $5, and didn't even have to pay shipping. But I do need an address. So I'm going to have you send that address, if you will, to Devil's Advocates 2024 at gmail.com. Just put in the subject line. This sounds like Pete Altieri from Murder Metal Mayhem. Put in the subject line, "I won a free hoodie," or I won a hoodie, and give me the address that you want me to ship to. You can give me a PO box. You can give me your neighbor's address. You can give me best friend's address. I don't give a shit. I'll mail it somewhere to you, and I'll get it out in the mail pretty quickly, probably tomorrow. I'm pretty good at that stuff. So thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for coming to the show tonight. Thank you for my panelist guests tonight. Did you guys want to say any parting thoughts on the way out for the evening?
I want to say a parting thought. Thank you very much for the amazing show, you three. And thanks for inviting me on, DA. And all jokes aside, I was joking with Erica Kirk. She can know that. But we're putting pressure on a lot of these people, these cases, I should say, to provide, again, truth and transparency. We're not going to get it from mainstream media, as DA falls and is able to articulate each time with these cases so well. But that's why it's up to us to do our best and get help from other researchers, which I'm thankful for at times that I get help from other researchers. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, excellent. Anything from you, Robin or Joe?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good times.
All right, perfect. Robin?
Yep, just want to thank everyone for coming out and spending the evening with us, and hope everyone had a wonderful holiday, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful holiday weekend. And thanks, Jason and Joe, for, just always love being here with you guys. And Lee, you're okay. You're okay.
Yeah. I can't type and spell for shit, but I'm okay. I'm all right. Yeah. All right. Have a great night, everybody.
You three.
Thank you so much. You as well. Later. Well, of course, you're doing the Thanksgiving in Canada. But yeah, thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Dan.
Nick,
See
good
you
night.
soon.